Varma. Now, after 14 hours of raids, the CBI left the residence of Delhi's Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia. Right now, these are fresh visuals that you're seeing on your screens of Manish Sisodia leaving his residence. Remember, he is slated to hold a press conference soon. Now, essentially, the raids began at 7 a.m. and ended at 10:30 p.m. last night. Sisodia's residence was raided in connection with the Delhi excise policy matter. It's a policy that was introduced by the Delhi government in November. And in its FIR, the CBI stated that Manish Sisodia, along with other public servants, have been taking undue benefits from private liquor license holders. Now, sources have told CNN News 18 that agency officials seized confidential official files related to the new excise policy from the home of a public servant. However, no cash recovery has been made so far. Now, in the list of 15 accused in the case, Manish Sisodia has been named as accused number 1. And in total, 31 locations have been raided by the CBI. Now, meanwhile, after the raid, Sisodia said that he cooperated with the probe and that he is not afraid. Now, we're going to continue to draw our viewers' attention to the visuals that you see on screen. This is fresh movement of the Delhi Deputy CM Manish Sisodia after the 14-hour long raids that took place yesterday and were conducted by the CBI agency. Now, essentially, those raids, once again, they were in connection with the Delhi excise policy. So those are the visuals that you're getting on your screen right now. But remember, essentially what's going on is that the raids were conducted and FIR was filed. Manish Sisodia has been named as accused number 1. So essentially, 31 locations were raided by the CBI, and after the raid, Sisodia made a statement saying that he is not afraid and that he is an honest person. This is something that the Delhi Chief Minister has also said. He has stood by his Deputy CM, and essentially when he was addressing a press conference yesterday, that is what he also reiterated to everybody who was watching what was going on at the Deputy Delhi CM's residence. So what exactly was the Delhi excise policy? Essentially, what it envisaged was 849 spacious and air-conditioned liquor vendors equitably distributed across 32 zones in the city. And what was essentially going to happen with what the Delhi government was trying to do with this Delhi excise policy is that the private vendors were going to be benefited more and government-run shops were going to be closed, essentially. Now, we have some more breaking news coming in right now. Now, Delhi Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia is slated to brief the media at noon. Now, this comes a day after the 14-hour raids at his residence. Now, the visuals that you saw on your screens a little while earlier, that is what we're playing out for you once again. Remember, that's his movement right before he's going to be briefing the media at noon. Essentially, when the CBI was raiding his residence yesterday, they took a few things. One was his cell phone, another one was a laptop. Now, we are going to connect with some colleagues on the ground to get you more details on this. But for right now, this is the information that we have on the latest movement of Manish Sisodia. And as apart from this, he's also going to be briefing the media at noon. So we're going to be expecting some more big statements coming from him about this entire matter. Now, yesterday, he did put the blame, apart from him, Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal also put the blame on the centre, saying that the centre is misusing agencies and essentially saying that the centre has sent the CBI to Manish Sisodia's home. Now remember, Manish Sisodia's home was not the only home that was raided. 31 other locations were raided across different states as well. So we will get some more information about those specific raids and the interstate probe that's going on in relation to this. But essentially what we're expecting to take place now is a media briefing by the Delhi Deputy Chief Minister at 12, and that is what we're going to continue to track at that point. And right now, those visuals that you see on your screens are of his latest movement after the 14-hour long raids at his residence. Now, one thing that I do want to point out about the old excise policy is that 4 government cooperations ran 475 liquor stores out of a total of 864 in Delhi. Now, the rest were run by 389 private individuals. Now, private individuals were going to be given more benefits in Delhi's new excise policy. Now, I'm crossing over to my colleague Rupashri Nanda to get us more details on this. Rupashri, we are expecting a new briefing from Manish Sisodia at 12. What else do we know about what we're going to be seeing today?
Well, the news point that I want to break just now is that Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia and Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal had a meeting late last night. That is after the raids were over and after Manish Sisodia actually briefed the press. Now he's just stepped out from the house, as my colleagues over there are pointing out, and we are told that he's probably headed for some program. We do not know yet whether summons have been issued to him to appear before the CBI or not. That is a point where the things stand off now. We expect Manish Sisodia essentially when he speaks at the press conference to give a detailed, sort of a defense again of what happened yesterday, why it happened, and how the Aam Aadmi Party, according to him, is at the receiving end of the central agencies, which again, according to the Aam Aadmi Party, is because of the good work that they claim that they have done in the field of health and education, and also the growing popularity of Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal. But what is important to note over here is that FIR has been filed for the Aam Aadmi Party top leaders, also for the Aam Aadmi Party's legal team also. It is now a wait and watch sort of approach that they have adopted. They are essentially waiting to see what is going to happen next, what is the CBI going to do next, whether Manish Sisodia is going to be questioned, whether the CBI is going to have or claim to have more evidence on its hands before it arrests Manish Sisodia, or whether the case will actually be handed over to the Enforcement Directorate. So that is how things stand at the moment. Not a very pleasant position to be in for the Aam Aadmi Party at all. Coming as it does, we're facing the brunt of the attacks of many central agencies, with one of its ministers, Satyanjit Jain, also in jail currently. Pressure on the Aam Aadmi Party is also mounting, both from the Congress Party here in the national capital, and of course from the BJP, which has been continuously targeting the Aam Aadmi Party. So we do expect that once BJP starts to speak, or if BJP says something today, then Aam Aadmi Party also will have to field its leaders again to defend the party in the eyes of the people.
All right, Rupashi, what I also wanted to ask you about was essentially, now we know that Sisodia's residence wasn't the only residence that was raided. There were also raids going on in 31 other locations. Can you give us details about that as well?
Well, Sisodia's residence was the #1 residence that was raided yesterday, and the raids lasted for the longest time at Sisodia's residence yesterday. Apart from that, there were 3 excise officers also who have been named, former excise officers who have been named in the charge sheet. Their residences were also raided, and some other locations also of private people who have the liquor business. Their residences were also raided. So we are also getting to hear that one of the reasons why the CBI took so long at Sisodia's residence is because it wanted to be absolutely thorough in its investigation, and wanted to have something absolutely substantial, so that it can defend a possible arrest of Manish Sisodia in the court of law. Now remember that in the in the FIR that has been filed by the CBI, Sisodia is the #1 accused over there, and it has been followed by number 2, number 3, and number 4 are actually former excise officers of the Delhi government. And that is how the public servants are under scrutiny, and their role has come under scrutiny. From 5 to 15, of course, it is all private people, including a prominent person from the Aam Aadmi Party called Mr. Vijay Nair, and many other private liquor vend owners also. But all eyes from all quarters. And I'm talking not just about the Aam Aadmi Party. I'm talking about the Aam Aadmi Party, its government. I'm talking about the Lieutenant Governor's office and the government over there. I'm talking about the BJP. Also, all eyes are essentially on this particular case and what turn it is going to take, because of the kind of attention it has drawn and because of the kind of scrutiny that is now there on this particular case. All eyes are on this case.
All right, Rupashi.